Bang, bang, bang. As the battle raged across the Netherworld, Xiao Yin and the other three forces moved forward together, slowly drawing closer. The deeper we go, the stronger the threat and oppression of the dark forces become. Among those terrifying auras, there are definitely members of the extraterritorial evil clan and the Netherworld sovereigns. Yao Ji and the King of Beasts, both at the 9th reincarnation stage, felt this the most clearly. Their expressions turned grim. Even with their strength, the moment they stepped into the Netherworld, they found themselves struggling, let alone the group of 7th and 8th reincarnation stage experts behind them. As they moved, Xiao Yin and his team kept a safe distance to ensure that the angels of the Angel Kingdom and the powerhouses from the center of the human realm did not lose sight of their target. They couldn't catch up, but neither would they lose them, always staying within their line of sight. From Xiao Yan's vast soul perception, it was clear that the forces sent to attack the Netherworld by both the Angel Kingdom and the center of the human realm were truly intimidating. The Angel Kingdom sent 2 archangels under the command of the Slaughter Angel, along with hundreds of elite angels. The center of the human realm, led by the Deputy Realm Lord and the Son of God, had brought a formidable army as well. Wait, there seems to be a faint fluctuation of demonic power ahead. Move. As soon as the words were spoken, Xiao Yin led his team towards the first battlefield. Even though Xiao Yin wielded demonic power, his actions in the Netherworld were still heavily restricted. Cough, cough, cough. King of fallen angels, death god. However terrifying your strength and abilities are, what can you do to me? Russell. In the first battle on the edge of the Netherworld, the fight between the 4 superpowers had reached a boiling point. 2 evil experts, including the profound Nether Demon Lord, were being relentlessly pushed back. Yet, no matter how the King of Fallen Angels and his companions triggered the demon-slaying formation, unleashing destructive forces that could instill fear in anyone, they couldn't fully wipe out their opponents. It seemed they had reached their limit. The divine power within the King of Fallen Angels alone was no longer enough to completely obliterate them. The situation had reached a deadlock. Is that so? At that moment, a silent voice swept through the area. As the voice faded, an ancient, bell-like flame cauldron appeared out of nowhere, enveloping the 2 evil experts. Dozens of dazzling sacred flames transformed into sacred runes, activating the ancient power of the flame god's cauldron, thoroughly suppressing them. Ah! The 2 super experts twisted their bodies in agony, struggling to look up. They saw a group of formidable humans swiftly approaching, and when they saw the sacred flames in the leader's hands, their eyes filled with terror. With only the power of the King of Fallen Angels and his companions, it was impossible to annihilate them, but with Xiao Yan's power, everything changed. Flame God Cauldron. Refine them. At the 9th reincarnation stage, with the aid of dozens of sacred flames, Xiao Yan's combat power skyrocketed to a terrifying level. A vast, suffocating divine aura swept out from the flame cauldron, like an endless ocean of flames. Under the impact of this power, the bodies of the 2 evil experts began to tremble and shatter. We can't die here. They roared in defiance, the forces of the flame mantra combined with the sacred flames causing the 2 evil experts to struggle and scream, their voices full of unwillingness. But no one cared. After the flame cauldron suppressed them, the brilliant divine flames surged, diving into their bodies and crashing into their dying evil forms. Boom. The moment of impact, the 2 evil experts' bodies exploded into countless evil gases, as though trying to scatter and escape. But the sealed space of the flame cauldron left no room for their weakened essences to resist. Soon, they were erased from existence, and a trace of the most extreme evil energy flowed back into Xiao Yan's body. Gulp. Watching 2 super experts fall so easily into the hands of their opponents, countless evil beings in the army below looked up with astonished eyes, gazing at the flame cauldron above. Anyone could clearly feel the terrifying power within it. You? Who are you? Looking at Xiao Yin effortlessly annihilating their opponents, the death god's voice trembled as he spoke. The aura emanating from this person was extraordinary. No wonder, as the demonic energy within their own bodies felt weak in comparison. On the other hand, Xiao Yan's demonic power was purest, though they couldn't identify his true identity. The fallen Angel King's pitch-black wings fluttered faintly behind him as he cast a wary gaze at Xiao Yan. Even Xiao Yan himself had no idea how sharply the fallen Angel King could sense the power of angels. In the tense atmosphere, a purple feather, long forgotten by Xiao Yan for countless years, slowly emerged from his body. It quickly soared toward the fallen Angel King's wings. In the blink of an eye, it perfectly aligned with the fallen wings, as if it had been born to fit there. An immaculate connection. That feather seemed to have been something Xiao Yan inadvertently collected after helping a girl named Qing Yuan awaken her bloodline. Now, it somehow resonated with this powerful figure before him, who bore dark wings. There seemed to be an inexplicable connection between them. You little beast. At that moment, the fallen Angel King's pupils suddenly turned crimson, and the remaining demonic breath inside him surged, combining with his fallen angel power, erupting like a volcano. It seemed as though he wanted to tear Xiao Yan into pieces. The feather clearly contained the fluctuations of his own bloodline. It couldn't possibly belong to the Angel Queen. The only possibility was that it belonged to his own bloodline. Now that it was emerging from Xiao Yan, his bloodline had probably long since fallen into his hands. This is the former Golden Radiance Knight Commander of the Knight Order, His Excellency Lu Mingxian. In this critical moment, Lu Yun's graceful form moved, and her angelic wings unfurled behind her. She seemed to sense something and materialized, intercepting the fallen Angel King before him. People of the Angel Kingdom? Seeing Lu Yun appear, the fallen Angel King's anger slightly subsided. He hovered in midair, staring at Xiao Yan. The latter's strength was unfathomable, and even if the fallen Angel King exerted all his power, he likely wouldn't be able to erase him. But why did Xiao Yan have a feather from his bloodline? There's no time. Let's go. Just as Lu Yun tried to unveil the truth, the world around them distorted slightly. Terrifying auras, like a curse, surged from the void, approaching them. Some of these auras were so powerful they twisted the very space around them. Go this way. After a brief moment of deliberation, the fallen Angel King led Xiao Yan and his companions toward the Netherworld wall, where the Dark King and the Netherwall resided. It seemed to be one of the few safe places left for them. In the sky, the vast power of reincarnation swept through, and space rifts swirled strangely. From these rifts, several overwhelming auras slowly leaked out, like a dominating force that overshadowed everything around them, sending shockwaves through the air. This place in the Netherworld is truly bizarre. We can only use short-distance space travel. As the space rippled, a group of black shadows emerged, and a white-haired elder spoke with a solemn expression. It seems a fierce battle has broken out here. A moment later, the white-haired elder lifted his weary gaze and scanned the surroundings, shaking his head. Again, that bastard got away. In the Angel Kingdom, Archangel Belen glared at the fleeing figures of Xiao Yan and his companions. Rage filled her eyes. She had originally intended to use the Thunder Lord's accusation to make the Endless Flame Alliance collapse without a fight. However, Xiao Yan had completely thrown off her plans by directly opening the Netherworld gate, destroying the Angel Kingdom's scheme. Amid the army, Archangel Ares and the legendary human godchild, whose existence was only known in the center of the human realm, casually glanced at the evil army being devoured and erased by the undead creatures. They shared a silent decision. However, behind them, the powerful forces seemed to be moving toward Xiao Yan's group. Among the crowd were angelic wings that shimmered with pure white light and terrifying waves of energy that sent chills down the spine. Angels, heed my command. Purify this place. Ignoring the powerful figures in the center of the human realm, the angels with shimmering white wings erupted with brilliant sacred flames, eradicating the remaining evil army in an instant. However, despite their sacred power, it barely affected the undead creatures. Forgetful Immortal Xun'er, use your spatial powers to intercept them. If they manage to merge with the Netherworld forces, it could become very troublesome for us. Among the dozens of powerful figures in the center of the human realm, a middle-aged man with a lively spirit spoke. Understood. The white-haired elder nodded immediately, his speed increasing exponentially as he shot toward the pursuit like a meteor. Ares, if we fail this mission to the Netherworld, I believe you understand the stakes better than anyone. Watching the angels waste time dealing with the evil forces, the human god-child's expression darkened with rage. The moment the voice fell, the surroundings fell completely silent. We are still quite far from the Netherworld wall. We should rest for a while, the death god said as he stopped first, panting heavily while looking at the still motionless allied forces behind him. He and the king of fallen angels were already at their limits, and such high-speed movement had clearly taken a toll on their bodies. Why do you have those feathers on you? As the group passed over the pitch-black lands of the Netherworld and arrived above a gloomy mountain peak, the king of fallen angels and the death god slowly stood together, still watchful, their eyes filled with caution. The powerhouses behind Xiao slightly stirred their energy, seemingly ready to break into battle at any moment. However, this first battle in the Netherworld, though Xiao ended it, had seen the complete destruction of the fallen angels under the king of fallen angels and the death god's forces. Clearly, defeating the opponent had come at a heavy cost. She's quite a well-behaved, lovable girl. Seeing the king of fallen angels act this way, Xiao seemed to have guessed something, sneering coldly and showing no courtesy toward the latter. As a parent, to heartlessly let their own bloodline be scattered and lost in foreign lands is truly disgraceful. The situation became tense once again, and then Lu Yun stepped forward, revealing everything she knew about Qing Yuan. Humph. In the face of impending disaster, you still have the leisure to chat. I admire you, the king of fallen angels sneered. Just as he was about to press further, the void above the mountain suddenly cracked open, and an old man with white hair stepped out from the rift, a powerful aura radiating from him that made everyone's expressions turn grave. Even from across the void, the pressure from this person was enough to unsettle everyone. One of the three great wonders of the center of the human realm, Forgetful Immortal Xun'er? The death god and the king of fallen angels exchanged glances, and fear spread like wildfire in their pupils. This man had accumulated great achievements in the first Heavenly Earth War, reaching the 9th reincarnation stage. After countless cycles, his strength now was likely far more terrifying. With just their forces and the two nearly exhausted Netherworld powerhouses, it would be nearly impossible to stop him. I didn't expect anyone would still know me. Forgetful Immortal Xun'er's ancient body radiated faint yellow energy that rose like flames, his calm voice ringing in everyone's minds like a thunderclap. The peak of the 9th reincarnation stage. It seems the center of the human realm does have some power. The king of beasts, standing by Xiao took a step forward. The violent, oppressive aura of divine beasts surged out as though preparing to compete with Xun'er. I'll hold him off. You go ahead. Xiao eyes gleamed coldly as he turned to look at the rapidly approaching army in the distance. There was no time to waste. With their strength and the two nearly defeated Netherworld powerhouses, they could not resist the combined forces of the center of the human realm and the angel kingdom. Moreover, the invisible pressure released by Xun'er caused Xiao heart to tremble. While the king of beasts might be able to hold his own for a time, one wrong move could result in an irreversible disaster. But, as Xiao spoke, Kailin, Yun, and the others frowned deeply. They knew well the immense gap between each level in the 9th reincarnation stage. Even if Xiao fought the other, his chances of victory were slim. There's no time. You go ahead, and I'll follow shortly. Xiao face darkened as he spoke to the others behind him. Then, without hesitation, he flashed toward Forgetful Immortal Xun'er. The others nodded heavily, then swiftly moved toward the towering and unreachable Netherworld wall. With Xiao current strength and combat ability, if he wanted to leave, even a 9th reincarnation stage powerhouse would struggle to stop him. Trying to escape? Forgetful Immortal Xun'er watched Xiao figure rapidly fleeing and snorted in anger. He just moved slightly when he found a thin black shadow appear before him like a ghost. What stood out most was the dazzling, multicolored flames around the shadow. These flames caused him to feel an eerie sense of heart-pounding dread. Your opponent is me. Xiao Yin instantly appeared before Forgetful Immortal Xun'er, his sleeve sweeping out. Waves of scorching flames rippled through the air, and as soon as the divine, burning flames emerged, they disrupted Xun'er's body completely. Though the nine-colored sacred flame lacked some divinity and could not unleash its full might, it was more than enough to deal with a late-stage ninth reincarnation stage old man like Xun'er. Most importantly, Xiao Yin was eager to test whether, with his own early-stage ninth reincarnation power, he could bridge the gap with the nine-colored sacred flame. Until only two people remained in the high skies above the mountain peaks. The eyes of the forgetful immortal Xun'er, the elderly man, inevitably revealed a trace of cold, murderous intent. He simply stared at Xiao Yin, as though he wished to utterly strangle him to death right there. The center of the human realm. Huh? I'll get there sooner or later. In response to the elder's cold sarcasm, Xiao Yin only smiled faintly, keeping a wary gaze fixed on the old man in front of him. Xiao Yin didn't know much about the three mysterious locations at the center of the human realm. However, according to rumors, they were all once ruled by domineering figures of unparalleled strength. Whether in combat prowess or experience, they were on a completely different level from the opponents he had faced in the past. But today, your death is inevitable. Forgetful Immortal Xun'er suddenly roared, and the power within his body surged. Circles of complex yellow light seals, like ancient prohibitions beyond Xiao Yan's comprehension, continuously gathered in the void around them. It was evident that this guy's strength and combat ability were far from those of an ordinary person who had just reached the peak of the ninth reincarnation stage. Blustering fool. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly, and deep within his pupils, a chill seemed to flow. Dragon God Claw. Facing the elder's bizarre attack, golden dragon scales spread across Xiao Yan's body, and his hand transformed into a claw, smashing directly at Forgetful Immortal Xun'er. With the power of the Golden Dragon King's bloodline and the Dragon God Bone fully absorbed, Xiao Yan's Dragon God Claw now possessed the same terrifying power as the Golden Dragon King's own attack. The Golden Dragon Claw swept through the dim void, vanishing in an instant, carrying with it a fierce and violent aura, like a thunderbolt falling from the heavens, hurtling straight toward Forgetful Immortal Xun'er's vital point. As the claw struck, the void rippled violently, and Forgetful Immortal Xun'er's expression shifted, his face turning grim. The breath of the Golden Dragon King. The Dragon Clan's ultimate battle technique? Faced with Xiao Yan's rapid, thunderous assault, a vicious aura gradually began to appear on the elder's shriveled face. His palm changed swiftly, transforming into a faint yellow light seal that clashed directly with Xiao Yan's Dragon God Claw. Boom, boom, boom. The two forces collided, sending terrifying ripples of energy outward. Yet, neither of them seemed affected, though the very void seemed to tremble from the sheer force. You truly are brimming with treasures, Forgetful Immortal Xun'er suddenly smirked, his eyes shining with a glint of greed, as if he were eyeing an irresistible treasure. Why did my attack fail? Could it be because of that light seal? After the failed strike, Xiao Yin hovered in midair, watching as the elder continued to form intricate seals in the air. He couldn't help but shake his head. This old immortal's strength was likely far beyond the typical experts at the peak of the ninth reincarnation stage. Looking at the rapidly advancing black mass of troops in the distance, which seemed to be approaching within 100 breaths, Xiao Yin couldn't help but shake his head in resignation. Forgetful Immortal Seal. With a sneer, a brilliant light seal suddenly radiated from the elder's brow, shooting toward Xiao Yin like an unstoppable beam of light. The speed was so fast, it was almost impossible to react in time. Even with Xiao Yan's perception abilities, he felt a wave of unease as the light seal approached. And as the seal neared, his memories began to be devoured, bit by bit. The attack came so suddenly, but Xiao Yin was no ordinary individual. Brilliant flames instinctively erupted from his body, swirling in front of him, and a sudden wave of heat surged, temporarily blocking the strange light seal's power. The temperature of the surrounding void skyrocketed, turning boiling hot in an instant. With a slight movement of his fingers, Xiao Yin released a dazzling wave of fire, shooting out like a vicious dragon. Whoosh! As the strange light seal approached, it seemed to ignore most of the surrounding power, pressing down on Xiao Yin, causing his body to shudder. Even his sacred flame, reincarnation, and other powers seemed to stir restlessly in response. Surrounded by the radiant fire dragon, Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan's expression darkened. The fierce dragon made of sacred flame added to his growing pressure. Try this. Sacred Flame's eye. A sinister curve tugged at the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth, and his spirit palace erupted with power. At his command, a pair of ethereal soul eyes materialized above his head. This attack was, without a doubt, the strongest soul-based attack Xiao Yin could muster at present. Combining soul power with sacred flame? Though Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan's light seal momentarily enveloped Xiao Yin, his face darkened even further. The Forgetful Immortal power appeared to be blocked by the sacred flame or some other force. Tisk, tisk. The sacred flame's eye was as small as a speck of dust, but under Xiao Yan's precise control, it immediately opened, resembling an ancient eye that had been closed for countless years. Waves of soul ripples spread through the dim void, with sacred flame ripples overflowing from within. In an unimaginable burst of speed, they rushed toward Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan with a fury. This time, I really want to see how you'll handle this. In Xiao Yan's palm, a magnificent lotus platform slowly took shape, though his gaze never left the still form of Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan. With near-divine soul power, combined with the nine-colored sacred flame, it was a technique specifically designed to attack the soul. Could it really be so easily dealt with? Forget immortal profound seal, forget immortal art. Faced with Xiao Yan's overwhelming soul attack, Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan's hand seals shifted once more. The strange light seal in front of Xiao Yan instantly disappeared, only to flicker right in front of him. Boom! At the same time, the sacred flame's eye collided head-on with the strange light seal. The entire world reverberated with chilling soul roars that sent shivers down one's spine. However, before either force could unleash a more devastating wave, the strange light seal began to slowly devour, enveloping the sacred flame's eye and stripping it of everything. As this scene unfolded, Xiao Yan's smile slowly faded, replaced by a cold expression. Crack! A faint sound rang out. The fluctuation from their clash vanished in an instant, and the sacred flame's eye, which had not yet fully exploded, severed its connection with Xiao Yan. The sacred flame's eye, aside from Xiao Yan's original power, now contained a faint, intangible force, but Xiao Yan was certain that his control over it had completely vanished. Humph. Let's see how you handle your own attack. As his words fell, countless soul voices gathered in front of Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan. With a sudden shift in target, the sacred flame's eye turned toward Xiao Yan. Let's see how you like this. At this moment, Xiao Yan had the thought of retreating. The exquisite lotus platform in his hand fully took shape, and his eyes flickered coldly. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As Xiao Yan's voice echoed, the lotus platform was hurled viciously toward his opponent, while his figure rapidly retreated. In the dark void, a distorted lotus platform slowly sliced through the air, its center erupting with countless dazzling fire pillars that continuously surged toward Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan in a deadly assault. Such terrifying formations and speed caused even Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan's heart to tremble with amplified fear. Boom! As the two attacks collided, an eerie, thunderous roar rang through the silent Netherworld, sending shockwaves through the surroundings. Such power was likely enough to make even a peak ninefold reincarnation stage expert turn pale with dread. Amid the explosive chaos, the two figures showed no signs of serious injury. They continued to chase each other, speeding toward the distant Netherworld wall. Do you think the Master will be all right? A group of powerful figures moved swiftly, energy-scarred figures cutting through the skies toward the Netherworld wall. However, as they heard the terrifying sounds of the explosions ahead, they couldn't help but turn and look. In the eyes of Wenlin, the king of beasts, a sense of unease began to rise. Not far from them, the Netherworld wall loomed, a place of endless darkness, as if it were an insurmountable wall of evil. Not even a glance toward it could shake off the vague sense of hopelessness that arose in their hearts. The Netherworld wall was not something they could breach. The evil power here has completely vanished. Looks like Lord Darkness King has won. As they scanned the surroundings, Death God and the King of Fallen Angels exchanged glances, a hint of relief appearing in their eyes. In the Netherworld, the strength of Death God, the King of Fallen Angels, Darkness King, and Nether King was undeniable, with the latter two's power as evident as heaven and earth itself. Let's move. Just as the group hesitated, a roar from Xiao Yin suddenly echoed from afar, with a sharp urgency in his tone. Even Xiao Yin himself hadn't expected his proud attack to shatter completely under Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan's strange Forget Immortal art. Looking up, two shadows were speeding toward each other, both covered in numerous injuries. The violent fluctuations around Forgetful Immortal Xuanzuan grew more intense, and the scene became increasingly terrifying. A peak ninefold reincarnation stage expert was indeed formidable. Given Xiao Yan's current strength, it was nearly impossible to stop him without using all his might. Move! Xiao Yan's face darkened once again. Death God and the King of Fallen Angels took the lead, urging the rest of the Alliance toward the Netherworld wall. Finally, here you are. As the battered, forgetful, immortal Xuanzuan relentlessly pursued Xiao Yin, an ancient voice suddenly echoed from the Netherworld wall. It was like the awakening of a guardian that had waited through countless reincarnations, a voice filled with awe, and the terrifying sound of heaven and earth rang out from the surroundings. The moment this indifferent, dismissive voice echoed, the powerful figures, including the King of Beasts, all exchanged looks, their hearts void of any emotion. This power was too overwhelming, so strong it overturned their understanding. They simply couldn't resist it, let alone defeat it. The forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's steps froze as he hovered in the void. His expression darkened as he looked up at the towering, unreachable nether wall. The shadow hidden within the darkness made him truly sense the threat of death. On the ground beneath him, the remnants of dark green flames and faint traces of malevolent energy only made forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's heart grow increasingly ferocious. Darkness King. This guy is on the wanted list of the center of the human realm. Are you really planning to? Forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's gaze fixed firmly on the illusory black figure atop the nether wall as he snarled in fury. The true identity of the Darkness King was something even they knew little about. But the demon power within him made both the center of the human realm and the angelic kingdom's experts wary. That kind of power seemed to have no countermeasure whatsoever. How could they handle this unknown power? Is the Vice-Realm Lord of the center of the human realm a godchild? Where is your Realm Lord? The illusory shadow atop the nether wall paid no heed to forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's words, instead speaking in a voice filled with disdain as it gazed indifferently at everything. As soon as the voice fell, the figure slowly descended from the heavens, diving straight toward Xiao Yin. The Darkness King, concealed within the dark vortex, appeared to have pitch-black long hair, dark green skin, and eyes of different colors, making this so-called Darkness King look even more eerie and malevolent. Vroom, vroom. At the moment this supreme being appeared, Xiao Yan's body froze mid-air. The demonic power within him, already exhausted from overuse, began to surge uncontrollably. It felt as if his demonic bloodline had caught the scent of a delicious feast, making it restless and ravenous, eager to break free. Looking at the so-called Darkness King, who was enveloped in endless demonic power, Xiao Yin could barely make out his true form. However, the demonic power surrounding him was far more terrifying than anything Xiao Yin had ever unleashed. A foreboding, eerie aura filled the air, spreading from the figure, filling the world with a sense of unspeakable fear. Even as Xiao Yin stared unblinkingly at the figure, the mark of the Xiao clan and his bloodline stirred faintly within him. That strange sensation felt like it was from the same origin. Invader of the Netherworld, die without mercy. Approaching Xiao Yin, the chilling voice from the dark vortex sent a shiver down his spine. Death? Ha 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 ha. In response to the Darkness King's words, forgetful immortal Xuanzuan suddenly burst out laughing, his smile filled with madness, like a true lunatic. Forgetful immortal power. Annihilate everything here. In an instant, yellow beams of light began to flicker in the dim void. Forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's pupils glowed with boundless fury, as if a supreme being had been offended by ants. Forgetful immortal art. Forgetful immortal beast. Boom! The yellow beams roared from forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's body, each one radiating unparalleled destructive power. Moments later, a massive energy beast appeared in the minds of everyone. The yellow aura was ancient and vast, its light flickering with a power that, while not as holy as the angelic kingdom's divine power, still carried a shocking and terrifying aura. It was the power of the forgetful immortal art, capable of erasing memories and destroying souls. Kill! As the giant beast took shape, even containing some form of law, it moved under forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's control, shattering the void as it charged toward the Darkness King. Along the way, the dim void trembled slightly, and black abysses appeared out of thin air, as if the entire world were about to be obliterated. Wen Lin, Senior Yao Ji. Seeing this move, Xiao Yin urgently roared to the people behind him, his eyes filled with a bloodthirsty gleam. All of his power was ready to be unleashed. Swoosh! However, the Darkness King merely smiled disdainfully in response to the attack. Then, a strange blood-soaked hand, covered in dark green runes, slowly extended from the void. Before forgetful immortal Xuanzuan could react, the sinister, evil hand swept across the space with a menacing motion. In an instant, the void collapsed, and the massive body of the destruction beast vanished into the darkness. Even forgetful immortal Xuanzuan didn't have time to struggle before he was decapitated. The 3 seconds seemed short, but in the hands of the all-powerful Darkness King, they were enough to accomplish much. In the first second, a demonic arm covered in dark runes reached out from the dark vortex, instantly radiating an immense, world-shattering demonic power. With a slight grasp, the energy beast, bearing a contemptuous stance, was shattered without a fight, crumbling into pieces in an instant. In the second, after destroying the energy beast, the demonic hand vanished into the void, slowly appearing behind the forgetful immortal Xuanzuan. The latter's heart and vital organs were completely exposed beneath the palm of the Darkness King. In the third second, the demonic hand pierced through forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's chest like a blade, and in that instant, demonic light surged, tearing and devouring his body and even his soul. What? At that moment, many of the Endless Flame Alliance's powerhouses exchanged stunned glances, their eyes wide with shock, staring at the Lord of the Netherworld, the Darkness King. Fear surged within their pupils, a thick wave of terror flooding their hearts. How terrifying had this ruler's power become? To be able to so easily erase a peak 9th reincarnation stage expert? Those 3 fleeting seconds had left forgetful immortal Xuanzuan in shock and terror, as though he had lived through countless cycles of death and rebirth in an instant. His body, driven by instinct for survival, exploded without any warning. He never expected that the demonic power of the Darkness King could completely disregard his forget immortal profound seal. Pain shot through his heart and limbs, as though, in that moment, his body had been frozen in place. His blood and strength were suddenly paralyzed, unable to move. PFF. With a swing of the demonic blood hand, forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's body was cleaved in two. A faint soul light sphere surged from his disintegrated body, quickly shooting toward the distance in an attempt to flee. Having reached the pinnacle of strength in this realm, even though his body was destroyed, his essence would not completely dissipate. It was a judgment error. He had originally thought the Darkness King had been severely injured by the extraterritorial evil clan experts and dared not show himself. With all his power, he should have been able to deal a fatal blow. But his mistaken assumption nearly led to the complete annihilation of his body and soul. Inside the soul light sphere, forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's darkened face was filled with shock and fear. This lord of the Netherworld, the Darkness King, had grown so powerful that he was now within reach of that terrifying level. Peak 9th reincarnation stage. A peak within a peak. Within the soul light sphere, forgetful immortal Xuanzuan's mind was consumed by the Darkness King's handsome yet malevolent face. Endless fear surged from the depths of his soul, and he fled, shooting toward the distant void. Rustle. Just as the Darkness King was preparing to strike again from the dark vortex to eliminate forgetful immortal Xuanzuan, his body trembled slightly. Countless demonic runes stirred around him, seemingly bombarding his mind and soul. Even the demonic robe behind the Darkness King seemed to sense a similar malevolent aura. It stirred restlessly, as though trying to break free of the restraints, and pounced toward Xiao, who stood nearby. Senior. Seeing this, Xiao quickly rushed into the dark vortex and caught the Darkness King's body. The moment he made contact, countless demonic runes tried to invade Xiaoyan's body through his own, but they were immediately suppressed by a far darker, more sinister force within the Darkness King's body. Faced with this power, even Xiaoyan's expression tightened instantly. A chill spread across his heart, and fear quickly began to creep in. If he compared the demonic power within himself and the Darkness King, his own was like a mischievous child, whereas the Darkness King's demonic power had already become the supreme force of a ruler commanding billions of evil spirits and creatures. While both powers were essentially demonic, the difference between them was vast. I never expected that from the origin of the Xiao clan, someone with such extraordinary talent would appear. Sensing the familiar demonic power and Xiao clan bloodline within Xiao, the Darkness King's wicked face suddenly softened into a gentle smile. His old eyes were filled with a sense of admiration. "My lord, your injuries?" Beside them, the Death God and the King of Fallen Angels rushed over, their faces darkening as they looked at the Darkness King, shrouded in demonic runes. The Darkness King was one of the two rulers of the Netherworld, who could have wounded him. Xiao, Kailin, Yun, Yao Ji, and others gathered around the Darkness King. They all fixed their serious gazes on him. From his aura, they could sense an overwhelming pressure. But what truly caught their attention was the demonic robe behind him. The Dark King's body surged with energy, as if something was concealing him, attempting to suppress the demon robe behind him, though his intentions remained unclear. His gaze narrowed slightly, and he looked towards the strong warriors of the Endless Flame Alliance behind him. With a flick of his palm, a black beam of light suddenly shot out. At the moment the beam moved, the demonic power within several powerful beings from the monster realm and other forces surged in unison. This is one of the monster realm's imperial weapons, the creation demon realm? Wait, this? Xiao Yuntian, Xiao Tianming, Thunderlord, the demon emperor, Xian Yi, and the king of beasts, the three of them, had just caught the jade-like relic thrown by the Dark King. Upon closer inspection, they noticed a very small, almost imperceptible word in a hidden gap on the back. This thing, it was made by one of the four outer guardians, Protector Xian. Based on my guess, the events that took place in the Xiao clan may be connected to him. The Dark King fought against the fierce backlash from the demon robe behind him, speaking slowly. Where is he? Xiao quickly sensed that there might be many uncertainties surrounding this matter, and hurriedly asked. If they could capture him, their strength would make it easy to extract the truth. At that point, the doubts of Thunderlord and the others might lead to a breakthrough, and the truth would eventually come to light. He's dead. Xian and Huang led the army to break through the Netherworld wall, but they perished by my hand. As the Dark King spoke, a hint of regret flashed in his eyes. Although this matter was caused by Protector Xian, with no one left to testify, it would become a tricky issue. The Demon Emperor and the others knew well the uniqueness of this imperial weapon, but without solid proof, all their speculations were nothing but conjecture. After all, beings from the Angel Kingdom and other factions wouldn't let go so easily based solely on the word of an imperial weapon.